All right, we are watching this video. What skateboarding taught me about creating music. I feel like it's kind of an interesting concept because I'm a very big proponent of skateboarding improving your skills outside of skating and just in your general life. And how you could improve music through skating sounds very interesting. So let's see.
My group of friends and I filled our weekends with skateboarding. We had a friend a few years older than us who could drive, and we'd all squeeze into his pickup truck and travel around San Diego, going on adventures and visiting skate parks. I skateboarded a lot as a kid, but I never took my growth in skateboarding seriously. It was more just a fun way to hang out with my friends, which is fine. I made a lot of memories doing it, but eventually...
So that's something that's interesting with skating is like, people really think like, if you skate, you have to do a kickflip, you have to get better, you have to ollie a 7-stay, you have to try to go in a competition. You can literally do whatever you want. Like he said, what he liked about skating was hanging out with his friends. Perfect. If you don't want to push yourself but try to learn new tricks, don't. Like, just enjoy it for what it is. I feel like that was a nice little instant piece of wisdom.
It got boring and faded out of my life. Now that I'm older, I'm into music production, but music has been my only hobby for a long time. And when you only do one thing over and over, it can start to get stale no matter how much you love it. I needed another hobby, one with fresh air and that didn't involve staring at a screen. So I did what any man should. I strapped on my helmet, I dusted off my old skateboard from high school, and I hit the skate park. And what I've learned...
This is sick, and honestly, being part of Braille, this is a super common thing that people would always say. Yo, I used to skate as a kid, then I stopped for 10 years, and now I'm just getting back into skating, and I've been watching Braille, and I love the vids of Braille. It really gives me encouragement. So, like, it's cool to see that this guy made a video about that exact topic, because I feel like it's a very, like, common storyline.
Learned after skateboarding consistently over the past few months is that skateboarding and making music are very similar. Many of the lessons I've learned over the past few months that have helped me to become a better skateboarder have also helped me to make better music. Number 1, style over skill. So I'm not an expert in skate culture by any means, but what I do know is that if you're a professional skateboarder, creativity plays a major role in your career. Everything from the type of tricks you do, how you do those tricks, the way that you dress, all contribute significantly to how you're perceived by the general public and by fans of skateboarding. Even if you choose to label skateboarding as a sport, there's one major difference between skateboarding and traditional sports.
Wait, that was recent. Road to Paris 2024. How old is this video? Shout out to this guy, by the way, Cold Bumpy. Oh, this is May. I think this guy's channel will take off. This is really well made. He only has 42 subs. Should I hit him with the sub? Let's just take a quick look. Okay, he only has 3 vids. Surfing and songwriting. Should we hit him? Boom. 1 minute in? Dang.
There's one major difference between skateboarding and traditional sports. Skateboarding has no rules. As a result, creativity and style take the spotlight. Obviously, skills are important to be able to do tricks in the first place. But if every person skated the exact same way, there would be no soul in skateboarding. When I go to the skate park, the type of skaters I see where I go, dang, I want to skate like that one day, may not be doing the world's hardest tricks, but they have a unique sense of style that you can tell took a lot of practice and guts to reach. And that sense of style is what made me think skateboarding was cool in the first place. Not just doing the hardest tricks, but expressing yourself in an interesting way. And I think
this is really interesting to see from a music point of view, because people always try to lump skating in as a sport, and they say, blah, 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 skating is a sport. Oh, in the sport, it has a competition, and you try to do a trick, and you try to improve, blah, 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 sport this, sport that. But I always like to compare skating more to like dancing, or something like dancing, and music is also really interesting too, to get this musician's point of view. But why I say dancing is because, to me, you say, oh, you have a dancing competition. Dancing must be a sport. It's like, bro, saying dancing is a sport is like so disrespectful to dancing as a whole. Dancing has been around basically as long as humans have existed. Some kind of dancing, some kind of noise, some kind of music, some kind of rhythm, you know? To say that it's just a competition where you win a medal and a prize money is like so, like minimizing it to so much less than what it actually is. And I feel like skating is kind of similar to that. Whereas like skating is bigger than a sport, it's this bigger thing, and so is music. Music's not that it's a sport, but like to view music as this competitive thing with a goal is so silly. It's this wide-reaching thing, and I think that's how skating is too.
Skateboarding for many people is a lifestyle and a counterculture.
Yeah, this guy
similar
knows.
to how certain music movements like punk or hip-hop are to others. Skills aren't the main driving force that cause people to love these movements. It's about the feeling of the music and the messages behind the movements. One of my favorite albums is Illinois by Sufjan Stevens. On that
I like
album,
Sufjan Stevens.
Sufjan played 17 different instruments. So that's very technically impressive, right? But I don't love the album because Sufjan played 17 instruments on it. I love the album because I connected with the songs. If Sufjan Stevens never made Illinois but could still play 17 different instruments, would I still consider myself a fan? Probably not. The way that he used the instruments to make the album is amazing. But at the end of the day, the songwriting is what hooked me. It's the stories and messages throughout the album that give me the most value. Like when he tells the story of a child who has cancer or sings about being thankful for his stepmom. These songs were emotionally captivating and relatable, and that's what caused me to keep coming back and listening to them again and again. When I first...
Yeah, so that's really an interesting take. There's two things going on. One, technical proficiency. Yes, they played this many instruments. That is very difficult, and they did it great. But then he's saying he doesn't really care about that because there's so many great musicians in the world. If you're going to appreciate them just for being great, you'll have endless amount of music to listen to. He's saying what he liked is the lyrics and the execution and how it's all composed and how it touched him, you know? That's what he's saying what he likes. And I think that's very relatable in skating today, is that there's so many kids that are so good that no one cares about, and they'll never make any career. They'll never do anything because there's just too many. There's too many good people. So now it's like, which skaters are you going to pay attention to? It's someone that already has to be good, but has to have something else as well, has to have maybe something different, a bit of a different approach or a bigger personality, you know? That's an interesting observation that he made.
Started making music, I knew what kind of music I wanted to make, but my songs sounded like an amateur made them. So I dedicated time towards learning skills in the hopes of eventually making better music. And learning skills helped my music a lot. I'm now better at mixing my music in a way that sounds more professional. So learning skills was a good thing. But when I go back and listen to some of the first songs I ever made, I feel like those ones are some of my best songs. But how could that be? Well, I think the reason for this is that I shot too far in one direction, soared over creativity, and started to prioritize skills too heavily. After watching one too many YouTube tutorials, I fell into the trap of believing that I could think and plan my way into making better music. I think the reason my earlier stuff is better is because when I first started, I had zero skills. So instead of obsessing over technique, I just used my ears. I listened to the music, I decided how I felt about it, and then I tweaked stuff to the best of my ability until it sounded good. And that got me pretty decent results. Rick Rubin has been involved in producing some of the most impactful records in music over the past 40 years. But he doesn't even play any instruments. He said, "Art isn't in the tools, material, equipment you use. It's in the way you see the world."
Very interesting. With skateboarding is like, especially street skateboarding, the whole thing of street skateboarding is not, I jump downstairs. It's that you are adapting to the environment around you. And you say, oh, there's stairs? Why don't I jump? Oh, there's a curb? I'm going to ollie up. Oh, there's a railing. Imagine if I jumped on the railing and grinded down the railing. Those like obstacles kind of like spawned out of this like, wow, how can I use the environment around me? And then it's so interesting that that bred into becoming a skate park or even snowboarding. Snowboarding offshooted from skateboarding, and now they build a snow park imitating the natural elements that skateboarders found. Like it's interesting how it expanded it all, you know? But having that kind of outside influence, that's the way I like skating, is you see a new spot and sometimes the spot is telling you, oh my God, do a wally into this wall ride and then hit the rail. Like it could tell you this really complicated narrative. And then like what he said, you have to be technically proficient enough to kind of hear what it's saying to be able to like execute. So I think that's cool. It's like, yeah, you need to be technically proficient, but then at the same time is like, you got to have that kind of creative spark. That's what's really appealing about skating.
Number 2, pressure creates diamonds, aka be the stupidest person in the room. The phrase pressure creates diamonds refers to how the weight of the Earth's core forces down on rock, causing diamonds to form. In a human context, the saying is used to refer to the high-pressure situations that a person may face in life and how these situations can bring out their full potential. I skate in Southern California, and here there is a massive skateboarding subculture. That means that when you go to the skate park, there are often a ton of highly skilled skateboarders. For new skaters in any area, the skate park can be an intimidating place. You can barely ride your board, yet other people are whooshing past you. You feel self-conscious about getting in other people's ways. You're afraid people are judging you because you're a beginner. It makes sense to feel this way at any new place. It is intimidating. I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel nervous when the skate park was packed with people who are better than me. But I don't think I would have built as many skills as I have if every time I went to the skate park, I went at 7 a.m. to avoid being uncomfortable. I think going early is good when you're just starting out and learning the basics, but I found a lot of value in going to the park when it's packed with really good skaters. Sure, I might feel more anxious and self-conscious when mostly everyone is better than me, but when you see that everyone can do a trick except you, you'll think, if everyone else can do it, why can't I? Also, even though it sounds shallow, the pressure of wanting to look cool in front of people who are better than me motivates me to step out of my comfort zone and try new things.
I like what he's saying there. And what I say to people say, how do I get better at skating? How do I get better at skating? I just started. I say, try to make friends with other people that are also just starting, but are slightly better than you. If you can make friends with people that are better than you, then you say, wow, they can do a pop shove it. I can only do an ollie. Or they can do a front shove it. Maybe I could learn that. And like, then they kind of just learn things, and then you are learning them kind of with them, and you kind of bring each other along. And I think that is a cool thing that he's sort of saying, is like, go to the skate park and you'll see all these other more skilled skaters, and then you can kind of like integrate and mingle in the environment and like all prosper together.
I noticed that by making music with friends in the same room, my music skills grew a ton. I've been able to observe how they work, their methods, their creative mind states, and their styles, and I've been able to implement this information and inspiration into my
random stock image of Eminem.
So yeah, we're often stuck in a cycle of overthinking, but when someone's right next to you, you don't have time to overthink. When I played piano in my friend's band for a concert, the fear of forgetting the chords or going off time during the concert, and the idea of embarrassing myself, pushed me to practice to perfection. And I still completely forgot the chords to the song as soon as I got up on stage because I was so nervous.
Let's go.
But that leads me to my next point. I don't know if you've ever accidentally stepped on a snail, but when you do step on a snail, the pressure doesn't turn the snail into a diamond. The snail dies. If you go to the skate park at peak population when you're just starting, the pressure could be too much and your nervousness could get the best of you, causing you to fall and possibly injure yourself. If you're an audio engineer and you get into the studio with a musician, but then completely fumble due to a lack of skill, you may lose that client and tarnish your reputation. So pressure can make you a diamond, but bread also rises when you let it rest. It's good to be prepared before jumping into high pressure situations because the consequences may not be worth the risk. Lesson 3. The Dunning-Kruger effect. The Dunning-Kruger effect is when a person's ignorance leads them to overestimate how much they know about a topic. The person will feel like an expert, but in reality, they're still an amateur. Maybe me in this video? Here's a graph that showcases the Dunning-Kruger effect over time.
We are the best company in Kenya. It's a lot harder than I thought. It's near impossible to do this. Okay, it's starting to make sense. I think we've got it, but it's a never-ending battle. It's saying like you have this blind confidence at the beginning, and then you kind of you learn enough to be like, oh shit, I was so naive.
And how our confidence changes while gaining experience in a skill. When you first embark on learning a new skill, you begin with learning the very basics.
This is me in bowling. Bowling's easy. I can do a perfect game. And now I'm getting humble.
Basic skills tend to come pretty easy with a small amount of effort. It feels like you're progressing really fast. As a result, your confidence is high. You're actually doing the thing you've always wanted to learn how to do. As you ride stiffly down the sidewalk, you think, I'm doing it.
It's sick he took from all these beginner videos. I've reacted to this guy too.
To go from riding sketchily down the sidewalk to doing a basic ollie takes a long time and a lot of work. It isn't as easy to ollie as it was to first ride the board, and so you realize that there is far more work cut out for you than expected if you want to reach your goal. This realization can be demoralizing and demotivating. Your confidence drops, and as you can see in this graph, this time period is labeled as the program termination zone, and I'm guessing that's because this is the point in which a lot of people quit. But as the graph shows, if you don't stop putting in the work, If you push through the struggles and stay consistent with gaining new experiences, your skills will slowly but steadily grow. Your improvement may be very hard to see when you're zoomed into the day-to-day, but after years of effort, you will be significantly better than you were when you first started. The Dunning-Kruger effect reminds me to keep showing up, because even if I feel like I'm stagnating or I suck,
That's everything I'm in the valley of despair right now.
Eventually, I'll be significantly better.
Wait, yo, guys, this is my video.
I'm stagnating or I suck. If I keep doing the work,
this is my video that I filmed my friend. Yeah, we made it in, and now I reacted to the essay that I am in. Let's go. Look, do you want the receipts, guys? Boom. Teaching a non-skateboarder every basic trick. Banger title. Boom. That was sick.
To end this video, I'd like to take an inspiring quote from the chef named Luca in the show The Bear. I think that what he says perfectly encapsulates the lessons I've been learning in skateboarding and music.
I think as I started early, I got my skill set up really quick, and then started to feel like I was really the best, you know? Like at all these really good places, I really was the best cook. And then I started at this really great place as a commie, and this other chef started the same day as me. And I thought we were competition, but really we weren't. Like, he was better than me. He worked harder and faster than I ever could. And it was the first time I realized that I wasn't the best, and I was never gonna be the best. So I started looking at it like it was a good thing. Like, at least I knew who the best was now, and I could take that pressure off myself. And the only logical thing to do was to try and keep up with him. So I never left this guy's side.
And you got better?
Oh, mate, I got better than I ever thought I possibly could be, just from trying to keep up with him.
Okay. This pressure creates diamonds.
So, thank you for watching the video. I'm still learning myself, so if you disagree with me on anything, please let me know in the comments.
Okay, so that was extremely interesting, and I can kind of relate to that little scene at the end where when I was growing up as a kid, I would skate in my driveway, and then I would go to the local parks around my area. And then I kind of built up a little bit of the rep that it's like, yeah, Ricky's the good local kid. And like the other people that I'd skate with, typically I would be like, I don't know, the better skilled skater or whatever. And then it wasn't until my world expanded a little bit, and then I went, because I lived on one part of the city, and in my part of the city, I was kind of like the best local skater. Then I went into the center of the city, and then all the other parts of the city meet up in the center of the city. And then I was like, whoa, like I suck compared to all these other guys. Like, this is sick. I remember the same kind of thing as that guy. I'd be like, whoa, I'm not the best, and I can learn so much from all these other people. Now I can skate with all these people. Like, this is great. So I can kind of relate to what he was saying. But also, this is the sickest video that I've ever seen. I think you guys should comment on this guy's video and be like, damn, sick essay. Because this guy like just made this account. I'll put it in the chat right here. I think it deserves love. I think if this guy keeps making videos like this, he'll absolutely crush it. I'm very impressed that that's like from a brand new channel. Great vid called Brumby. Good stuff.